You ever just look at a card and say, this seems a little incredibly broken? Well, we've got one of those this week, and thanks to a very fortunate color combination and set of traits, this particular card is about to unleash a lot of misery onto the competitive scene. And while it's tempting to just throw it into Knightmon and call it a day, I decided to dust off an absolute classic instead. Of all the Ace cards arriving in BT16, Valkyrimon ACE is, without a doubt, the most irredeemably broken one of the lot. Like Liam Neeson, this card has a set of skills. Particular skills. Skills honed in the dark recesses of Bandai's R&D department. To begin with, yellow and red is arguably the best color combination in the game. Don't believe me? Well, Zoe and Marcus would like to have a word with you. And while it doesn't have the double alternate lines of evolution like Valkyrimon ACE, evolving for cheap on a Silphymon will do just fine. As an ace, this card allows you to be much more flexible in your lines of play, either blast evolving or slamming down out of nowhere. And believe me, both are viable options when you see what this card does. When digivolving or on play, Valkyrimon applies a blanket minus 5000 DP debuff to the enemy board for the duration of the turn. Ruin mode says hello. It also has an all turns effect that triggers when a security card leaves either player's stack, deleting an 8000 DP or less target, and if it doesn't, it gives Valkyrimon security attack +1 for the turn instead. The latter effect is nice, but obviously the ability to casually nuke the board of all small bodies is a massive deal, clearing floodgates, Ukomons, and any other fodder in play. And since it's DP reduction, your opponents will be hard-pressed to get around it. The fact that that debuff lingers also prevents decks like LordKnightmon, D-Brigade, and Knightmon from floating quite as effectively. I mean, who needs Crimson Blaze at that point? Now, in terms of what decks you can play Valkyrimon ACE in, you're spoiled for options. Yellow hybrids, Knightmon, and even Mastemon can make easy use of this thanks to their ability to spam out cheap level 5 yellows. And red hybrid could likewise find room for this as a tech slot. But you know, I think we can do better. Or at least, have a little more fun. Valkyrimon ACE has so many good things going for it, but there's one aspect that I haven't mentioned just yet, its trait. See, Valkyrimon ACE is a warrior. In fact, it's a warrior with a potent on-play effect. And if there's one deck that can abuse that particular combination, it'd have to be the Scourge of BT5, LordKnightmon. Veterans of the Digimon TCG all know that LordKnightmon used to be the top dog, at least for a format. But the deck's fall from grace was both swift and seemingly irreversible. It's kind of wild when you consider the fact that this deck was basically the prototype for Bloom Lordmon, another knight with a much longer and more successful career. Now, the basic idea of LordKnightmon is to build up into the titular Crusader, come out of raising, and then start spawning a bunch of warriors and fodder with DP reduction on the swing. And after mopping up your opponent's board, you push for lethal on the following turn. One of the deck's neatest tricks is the ability to cheat out warriors of any level. Typically, this is BT5 Knightmon or its promo retrain, both of which can apply pretty heavy DP reduction to a single target. And of course from there, you can pass turn, usually by evolving into a secondary level 6, typically a /Angemon or maybe Kazuchimon if you're low on security. Now, LordKnightmon himself also gets a lot stronger on both turns as you continue to swarm the board, allowing it to become a pretty ferocious beatstick. Granted, you'll need to give him a little help to make the most of that sky-high DP, because, you know, one check, no matter how big the Digimon is just one check. One big distinction between LordKnightmon and his aforementioned vegan cousin is that your ability to spawn Digimon requires combat, whereas Bloom Lord kind of just spawns the bodies while it's climbing up the stack. The fact that you have to swing is a huge risk, and with zero protection or any ways to meaningfully get back memory, this can make your boards quite fragile. You also can't do much until you get to your LordKnightmon, so the deck can be quite limp and sluggish at times. And sadly, BT13 did not give the deck any meaningful fixes to its glaring issues. I'm looking at you, purple LordKnightmon and purple Dynasmon. So where does Valkyrimon fit into the picture? Well, for anyone paying attention, it's pretty obvious. LordKnightmon can not only spawn level 5 materials for Valkyrimon to blast Digivolve onto, it can just play Valkyrimon outright. This provides the deck with an absolutely massive board wipe, and most importantly, some much needed flexibility. Making use of Valkyrimon is actually pretty straightforward within the LordKnightmon shell, both because of its natural synergy with the deck boss, but also because of the ample amount of search power that LordKnightmon has at its disposal. Kodemon is your main searcher, allowing you to dig for warriors and holy warriors, put a pin in that one for a second. You also have Gladdymon, which can search your security for a warrior or holy warrior, and if you grab one, you recover one. So hey, there's a degree of security sculpting available to you. And of course, this plays for free off of LordKnightmon's when attacking effect. Speaking of free play targets, Lucemon is a cheatable heal 1, Pulsemon provides memory and or card draw, and Bushi Agumon gives you rush to close out games. Next, we have some Holy Warrior techs, specifically Omnimon Merciful Mode to wipe boards and disrupt the trash. It also burns a security and reverts to your level 6 if it survives the turn, which is pretty sweet. And then there's BT13 Gallenmon, who is a fantastic way to bounce back from a Crimson Blaze board wipe. Or, you could just run Shine Greymon Ruin mode in this slot if you prefer that. Digimon ACE is quite good here thanks to our ample spawnable level 4 materials. It provides healing in a pinch and is good to just slam down and finish off a stack after stacking a little bit of DP reduction. And the rest is just consistency, honestly. TK gets you to 3 memory and helps search your security for combo pieces, while physical training and yellow memory boost help to dig for a LordKnightmon and set you up for those explosive plays out of the raising area. Now, all in all, the deck does what it intends to do, and the addition of the ace cards go a long way in giving the deck some ability to roll with the big haymakers that people are hurling these days. Now, does this build make LordKnightmon tier 1? No. oh god, no. No. Is it playable? Hell yeah, it's definitely playable. And I would be confident in saying that it can probably steal some wins at locals. So I feel compelled to say it at this point, but yeah, the ace cards have actually been an interesting and fantastic addition to the Digimon TCG, and Valkyrimon ACE is about as good as it gets right now. Despite the risk of overflow, the raw power afforded to a lot of different strategies is just too good to pass up. I mean, between this week's card and Valkyrimon ACE from last time, we're really starting to see just how far Bandai is willing to push the design space in a pretty concerted effort to make these cards must-plays. And you know what? I'm all for it.